Hello everybody, Jim here to talk to you about one of the new vehicles available in Star Citizen 3.1. The Tumbril Cyclone is a ground vehicle that a lot of folks have been waiting for, and not just because some brilliant YouTuber made the world's most amazing commercial for it.
This year's racers will be hounded by the stunt saber flyers, the Screaming Demons. 4 Cyclones enter, and the first crew to make it out alive gets to go home to their kids with 1 million big ones. And after the show, get ready for the ancient techno-dino from the depths of space, Aurorasaurus. Over 100 metric tons of awesome. Get your...
Honestly, I think that may be his best video ever, possibly even the best Star Citizen video on the internet, if you ask me, but very few people even saw it. It's a shame it didn't get more views. Anyway, the Cyclone is now live in 3.1, and I attempted to answer a single, ever-popular question in my ongoing series, Will it fit? I'm not going to cover the handling of the Cyclone in this video. For that, I'm making a separate video that should be out very soon. This one is focusing specifically on ships into which you can and cannot cram a Cyclone. The first question I answered had nothing to do with where the Cyclone would fit, but rather what would fit inside a Cyclone. Many people wondered if you could stick a dragonfly in the back when the Cyclone first came out, and I think it's safe to say that this is, at best, impractical. If you have a look at the relative size of the two vehicles, it becomes clear that it is nearly as likely that the Cyclone will fit in a dragonfly as it is to work the other way around. Next, I wanted to take every ship with an interior and stuff a Tumbril Cyclone right up the exhaust ports. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a hold of every ship in this build by design of the developers, and after many crashes, I had to give up on the Caterpillar. I only have so many hours to devote to testing, and the Caterpillar was the straw that broke my metaphorical back. I didn't exactly rage quit, but I decided to quit trying to get the Caterpillar to a planet the first time I dreamed of the Star Citizen PTU loading screen. It's just, no more. Let's just say that I am sure there is no manufacturer-approved way to get the Cyclone into the Caterpillar. But as soon as I have a stable build, I'll be trying some creative entrance strategies that might void the warranty. I did get to try everything else, though, and I started, well, everything that was actually in this build. You weren't allowed to have all of the ships. And I started by trying to put a Cyclone into the Ursa. Clearly, it does not fit, but I wanted to see what happened when I tried. Unfortunately, even touching another vehicle with a Cyclone in the hangar was enough to trigger a crash. Come to think of it, that's what happened when I tried to put the Cyclone in an Ursa. It was such a spectacularly bad idea that it caused a crash of the game, as well as of the two ships. Next up was the Reliant, and it didn't fit, but I think it's safe to assume that this was the best possible result regardless of the actual level of success. And I think it might actually be handy for people who need to perform maintenance on the Reliant in the future, as it's often difficult to get to the bottom of the ship when it's sitting on the ground. Then I tried a Freelancer. This is the first attempt that seemed plausible to me. I was pretty sure it wouldn't fit, but thanks to the power of persistence, the power of positive thinking, and the power of poor physics, I actually got it in. Unfortunately, the physical laws decided to reassert themselves when I tried to jump over the Cyclone's tires, and nobody has yet programmed a Dukes of Hazzard entrance-exit mechanic into the game, so I got completely stuck. I mean, I couldn't even crawl over the things. I don't expect the Freelancer to be a viable Cyclone hauler once the developers get around to fixing things, unless the Freelancer Max has a larger cargo door, which seems likely, but is by no means guaranteed. Next, I tried the Cutlass, and it worked, with room for a Dragonfly or maybe even a Nox. Actually, the Nox is smaller, so that'd probably be the better choice. Besides, unfortunately, I had to drive over the jump seats in the back to do it. Hopefully those seats fold up, in which case I'd say this is the smallest ship that can comfortably carry a Cyclone. The Constellation seems like an obvious choice, since it was designed to carry the Ursa rover, which is significantly larger than the Cyclone. And it worked, with room to spare. More on the results of this test later. Then I tried a Vanguard. Nope. And the Retaliator. Also nope. Then I got to the Starfarer, and this one is the one I'd been counting on, since the Gemini is my big ship, and I intend to use it more for touring the game than gathering, refining, hauling, or selling fuel. I'll be taking a quick look at the sights before flying off to the next planet on my itinerary in a ship worth more than most NPCs' filthy villages. I really wanted something fun to drive, so I could examine their hovels at ground level, and the Dragonfly, while awesome, is clearly intended for long-distance travel at treetop level. The Ursa, while awesome, feels like flying a ship on the ground, slowly, and the Grey Cat, while also awesome, isn't fast enough to outrun the natives' primitive projectile weapons. The Cyclone, with the highest top speed of any wheeled vehicle, military armor, and partial protective canopy, and the incredible turning radius, seemed ideal for my purposes. The Cyclone feels more like putting boots on the ground, so to speak, without feeling completely exposed, so it provides exactly the mix of adventure and protection that every gentleman explorer is looking for. And I was happy to find that it fits nicely into my Gemini cargo bay with room left over for, well, basically every other ground vehicle in the game short of the Nova. Or, if the bay is empty, you can easily turn the Cyclone around so you can have a hasty exit later on, or maybe one from altitude. It remains to be seen if the turreted version of the Cyclone is too tall to fit in the cargo bay doors, but if that happens, I'll just go with the Racer because it's so much fun to drive, and I'll probably want to race the Cyclone at some point. Maybe I can install a spoiler to make it look cooler, just like my baby. I'm talking about my Gemini, that's my baby. Love that ship. Finally, I had one more space vehicle, for lack of a better word, that I wanted to cram the poor Cyclone into. But there was no way for me to get Olisar to the Cyclone, so I had to get the Cyclone to Olisar. That's why, after I loaded it into the constellation, I headed for space. One quick quantum jump later, I was illegally landing at my destination. The Cyclone is more maneuverable than you'd think, and it did surprisingly well in the cramped passages of Olisar, even around corners. It also traversed the landing pad more easily than a lone spaceman on foot. Sadly, the airlocks were impassable, though I tried, and I tried, and I tried. I think I might have made it if there'd been somebody there to hold the door open for me. Every time I thought I was going to glitch through the door would close and force me out again. Now, I suppose we'll never know. And that pretty much covers the ships currently in game that may or may not hold a Cyclone. I think it's safe to say that anything with a bigger door than a Freelancer is definitely going to haul your space dune buggy easily. I'll try the Caterpillar as well as soon as I have a stable build to do it in, but for now, that's all I got. I'm going to try to get the Razor video out by Friday, but I make no promises. Thanks very much to everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.